Hi, I'm Alexandra, and today I'm super excited to share with you about what makes Dataviz comics special and outline some practical tips on making one. So first, a little bit about me. Professionally, I'm a strategist where I help to unblock and empower analytic teams in Delivery Hero. But in my free time, I strategize how to fuse data, art, and culture for fun. So this talk is based on my experiences creating kind of back of napkin type of comic sketches as well as longer form of comics. And before we go on, I think we would like to unpack first what exactly is a Dataviz comic. On the surface, it may seem pretty obvious. I mean, you have embed like Dataviz or charts within a comic medium and you get Dataviz comics. But really, when you look at it another way, a comic, a data visualization comic is the lovely results of combining different types of visual metaphor. With comic, it's effectively a storyline that's told in graphic form. And likewise, with data visualization, you are encoding the data points onto lines, dots, colors, other visual marks. The cool thing about Dataviz comics is that when you share them, you are unlocking new doors. So what do I mean by this? One, you get to reach a much wider range of audience. Comics it's a friendly, approachable medium. People are usually quite familiar with them. So it's a good way to approach a wide range of topics. Two, you get to flex your creative and analytical muscle. Think of it as a way to sharpen your Dataviz toolkit. When you create comics that involves data visualization, you have to focus on the finer points of storytelling as well as design while ensuring data accuracy. And three, it's just really fun. Making Dataviz comics can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. And you don't even have to be able to draw to create one. I mean, take a look at the XKCD comic below as Exhibit A. So here are some practical tips if you wish to get started but are unsure how to. So I have a kind of 4-step framework. It's something I created on my own called the why, what, how, and whoopee. The caveat is that reality is often quite messy, and of course it doesn't go in this nice linear fashion, but I find a framework to be a useful way to organize your process. So along the way, I'll be sharing screenshots also of a comic that I created, and you can see the evolution. First up, we'll begin with why. And at this stage, we're forming your narrative structure, which is really the heart of the comic. Why is it important that you get this message out with the comic? Why should your audience care? The idea is to take all your key insights and takeaways and imagine a kind of narrative around it. You create scenarios such that it flows as a storyline. And then once you have your story, we move on to the what. And this is where you visualize or you visually translate your story. Imagine your story playing out almost like a movie. What do you see when the story unfolds? At this stage, you are creating a storyboard. And feel free to use placeholders or super rough sketches. The main point is to get the images out of your head and onto a material form. So you're breaking your narrative into panels here. Once you have panels and rough ideas of where certain things go, next part is how, and this is when you explore and crystallize your design choices. How will the charts, the characters, settings, and so on look? It also helps for this stage to get familiar with the visual language of comics. For instance, what does establishing shots mean? How will you design your character? As well as how will you use speech bubbles or motion lines to draw emphasis to different points. Knowing these things will help you decide how to fill in the details. And this stage is also when you finalize your sketches and start to ink your comic. And then finally, after all your hard work is done, this is the whoopee moment when you do your final checks, proofreading, and then you share your work with the world. Hopefully this gets you excited to start your own Dataviz comic. The why, what, how, whoopee framework, I hope it helps you too. And to end off, here are some resources that I found useful. Also, feel free to check out my website if you want to see the rest of the comic. Thank you.